Welcome to Nephew and Uncle Basketball Banter. All right, Uncle Dave, there's been a ton of basketball news since we spoke about a week and a half ago, so I thought we would start, though, by paying our respects. We lost three guys in the basketball
Yep.
community here. Michael Ray Richardson, Lenny Wilkens, and Ronnie Rogers both passed away in the span of 2 weeks here. And Lenny Wilkens, I'll start with him, passed away 88. He had a 15-year NBA career, was a nine-time All-Star, and was actually second in MVP voting one year behind Wilt Chamberlain in 67 and 68. He played in over 1,000 games, and he got inducted as into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1989 as a player, and then as a coach in '98. And he coached for 31 straight NBA seasons. Had over 1,300 wins as a coach. Won a championship with the Sonics as a coach in
Yep.
1979. He had multiple 50-plus win teams with the Cavaliers and the Hawks. So he
Yep.
was someone, Uncle David, was part of basketball as long as you have been following it. So, do you have anything to share about Lenny Wilkens and what he
Yeah.
brought to the game?
I never got to see him as a player. He's a little before my time, but a smooth lefty from what the research shows. But as a coach, he was way ahead of his time with the motion offense in the NBA. He's the only guy to get enough out of Christian Laettner too, though, because he played a 4-out, one
Yeah,
in. He let Laettner pop out and play.
that was the year he made his All-Star team, right?
Yep.
Lenny
Yep.
was coach.
And
Yeah,
he also had great Cleveland teams who got sandwiched between Detroit ending and Chicago beginning.
right, right.
And sometimes those teams happened to the Milwaukee Bucks in the 80s. They were sandwiched between the Sixers and the Celtics, and sometimes that happens. And Lenny
But those
was,
teams were excellent, though. He had some really good
oh,
Cavaliers.
yeah, Mark Price, Larry Nance, Brad Daugherty, Ron Harper. Those are some really good teams. Craig Elo. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, they
There
took
was
the
some really good
Pistons, and
teams.
they had some really good battles with the Pistons and the Bulls. Just
Sure,
came up short, but
and then
really
he coached those good Hawks teams too.
Mookie
That
Blaylock. He coached Dominique for a season.
Yeah, he lost those teams, and but he's been a good coach for a long time. Lenny, like I said, he's been a fabric of the NBA for 60 years. So he's one of those classy gentlemen. He won with the Sonics back in '79 when the games were on tape delay. They won against the Washington Bullets back then with Elvin Hayes and Wes Unseld. And Lenny's backcourt was Gus Williams and Dennis Johnson. And they had quite a team there. And they had guys like Spencer Haywood, had Marvin Webster. Those are some good teams. And, of course, Jack Sikma in the hole with the Sikma pivot, the reverse pivot, before Tim Duncan made it fashionable for this generation. But, yeah, great coach, great player. I can't say I remember him as a player, obviously.
Yes.
I was in the womb for most of his NBA career. But as a coach, I remember him very well. He's been a coach forever. And he was always a gentleman of the game, too. Never a crass word, although some of us get emotional on the sideline. Lenny never showed you that. Always a good, classy guy. And like I said, really good with motion offense. One of the first guys to really go 4-out, one in an era where everything was 3-out, 2 in. He kind of got away from that. And great coach. Will be missed, and a gentleman of the game.
Yeah, very much like a Hubie Brown type of feel. Like every time he talked about basketball, you just felt like you were a little more knowledgeable after hearing him. And we went over it when we discussed when Al Troutwig, when he passed away. Like there was no scandal with him ever. You didn't hear about
No.
anything really negative with him. So he certainly will be missed, but lived a good life though, nonetheless. And he was also part of that dream team coaching staff,
Yes.
92. He was part
Yes.
of that whole experience for USA basketball as well.
That's right. That's right.
So obviously an excellent career. I mean, the man lived a hell of a life, a Hall of Fame
Yeah.
coach and player in the NBA. You can't ask for
Yeah.
better than that. So pretty incredible. So rest in peace to the great Lenny Wilkens. And then we'll go over, Uncle Dave, to Michael Ray Richardson, who passed away
Such an underrated player. Oh my
70
God.
years old. And he was the first guy who was banned for the NBA. He tested positive a third time for cocaine, and he was banned from the NBA. But he was a guy, his career cut short, eight-year career, and he made an all defensive team twice for the Knicks in 1979 and 1980.
I was just gonna
Through
say
the
that. Yeah.
81 season. So he was certainly a hell of a player. You look at his numbers too. I mean, he certainly was a guy. If he maybe had won a couple championships, you might have said he was a Hall of Fame player potentially.
Yeah. It's one of the best defenders I've ever seen at the point guard spot. So people got to remember when he comes in the league in the early 80s, Magic is there and Dennis Johnson have big guards, but Michael Ray Richardson was the third of the big guards. It's the
Yeah, he was
third
six
big
five.
point
Yeah,
guard. Michael Ray is one of the is better defender even than DJ. I know DJ made a little more defensive teams because he got more access and stuff. But Michael Ray Richardson's one of the best defenders. He's built like a brick shit house, very strong. Michael Ray Richardson, on nights that he could put the ball in the hole with the jump shot, they would isolate him. He's on those early 80s Knicks teams, which were very entertaining, but had some challenges.
right. He made an All
Uh,
Star team four times too throughout his
yep.
career.
They'd make the playoffs and lost to the Bulls and Ricky Sobers and those guys when it was best out of three in one of those rounds. But he was the Knicks games were on Channel 6 back then. This network called Viacom, and it was Cal Ramsey and Jim Carvelis announcing the games back then on this obscure channel. And we all had 13 channels on Channel 6, and it was great basketball though, because the old garden was rocking, and they had Ken the Animal Bannister and Trent, guys like that. Ray Williams was his backcourt mate. Ray Williams, brother of Gus Williams. I mean, those are exciting teams if you go back and look. Michael Ray Richardson, one of the most
Yeah, it was
underrated
him,
players.
Campy Russell,
Yep.
Bill Cartwright, Ray
Yep.
Williams, Sly Williams, Marvin
Yep.
Webster. I mean, that
Yep.
year,
Yep.
so this season, 1980-81 season, the Knicks
Yep.
won 50 games that year.
Yes, they did. Yep. And Campy Russell was big that year. The funny thing about them, he was a guy that, and I said this on Facebook when he died, he's one of my friend Sean Conley's favorite players, went to the University of Montana. Sugar Ray, as we called him, he was a guy that many a night he dominated the game. Like I said, when the jump shot was going, he's like Westbrook that way, where if he was hitting his shot, there was nothing you could do with him because he was too athletic. So Sugar could dominate a game, and many nights he did, but he did it with his defense. He could really get in the passing lane and play. He was one of those guys that he would have been a perfect fit on those 90s Bulls teams with the way he played the basketball.
He led the league in steals 3 times.
Yeah, he's a stud. Like I'm saying, he was one of the best defenders I've ever seen at the point. Him, DJ, Michael Cooper, guys like that at the point, could really just defend. I mean, Mike Sugar Ray he's big and strong back then when that was just something that was kind of new. Magic came in and stole the big guard mantelpiece from DJ, but this guy was just as big as DJ.
Yeah, his prime years, he's averaging 7 rebounds on top of getting.
No, he's a beast. Michael Richardson is one of those guys that people, if you didn't see him, you wouldn't hear about him because the NBA tries to hush that up. But he was a great player. Right. Like I said, the J was a little more consistent. He's a Hall of Famer, but he got suspended, I think, 3rd time for drugs, and just a great player. I mean, Michael Ray was some player. I mean, Michael Richardson is very underrated. People laugh and dismiss, but they don't know. I mean, I watched him every time. Back then. There was no TNT basketball. There was no ESPN basketball. It was just Viacom. You'd see that, and once in a while CBS would have a game on Sundays, but Viacom and
you got the local games right at that time.
Yeah.
Right? The Knicks
so I watched them every night. Me and your grandfather watched, because grandfather liked watching the Knicks, so we watched the Knicks growing up. That's the only game you could get. Once in a while, you get a net game on Channel 9. WOR, and that was
his second year in the league. Uncle Dave, he averages a double-double. He leads the league in assists, averaging 10 assists a game.
And that's with Magic Johnson in the league.
15 points exactly, 1979, 1980, and he leads.
And Isaiah Thomas,
and he leads the league in steals that season as well with over 3. So incredible.
Unbelievable. And no one steals 3 balls a game anymore.
No,
nobody does that. No. So and plus he's a one-man break. You don't realize how athletic he is. Remember how athletic Latrell Sprewell was? This guy was a thicker version of him and just as athletic.
Right.
Michael Ray was just, like I said, just one of those guys that you feel bad about because, he just, in the NBA, he gets swallowed up as far as like the history of Michael Ray. He was such a good player. I mean, I guess, like I just wrote, he could dominate many a night, and he did.
Came out of Montana, but the 4th overall pick in the first round in the 78 draft.
Right before
Ray Richardson passing away at the age of 70. Obviously, what could have been. I think he's certainly one of those guys. If you have those type of lists, he'll certainly be up there for sure.
Oh, Sugar was the man. I mean, he was nasty. I mean, anybody who's my age remembers watching those games. You just remember how good he was. He'd pick your pocket and dunk it on your head back then when that wasn't really fashionable for point guards. Right. And he would just and nights when he'd get that little spinner in the lane there, when he hit that 15-footer in the lane pulling up, you couldn't guard him.
Right. Yeah, so his college numbers, Uncle Dave, his last season at Montana, he averages over 24 points a game.
Yeah, in college, that's not easy too. College,
and
with no shot clock.
Right, and 7 rebounds a game. So I mean,
with no shot clock, you're not getting 24 game tools in college.
He was a dominant college player.
He was just a really talented guy and a good guy too. He had a stuttering issue his whole life, so he didn't get as many interviews as he probably liked to. But he was a good. I know he had some problems, but he was a good dude. Good player, just loved to play. A lot of those guys back then. I think that the pay was good, but it wasn't like it is today, and so they really appreciated playing.
Yeah, his should be known also. He played in Europe actually post NBA career, so he was able to play basketball post being banned from the NBA. So he actually did have success and did have he won FIBA Cup championships.
Oh sure, Michael Ray was a stud.
Yeah, I'm sure he must have been some specimen in the FIBA game back then. I'm sure.
Yeah.
He actually was coached Uncle Dave, by George Karl for Real
Yeah,
Madrid. So
yeah.
pretty
Well, George Call had a way with the players. George Call is one of the better players, better players, coaches of all time. Sean Kemp wasn't the same after George. So, George had a way with the guys.
So obviously he had his last hurrah. He did have success. It
Yeah,
wasn't like it was he got out of the NBA and it was downhill from there. He actually did live
yeah,
a productive,
yeah,
have a productive career after that.
yeah.
So
He was an excellent player.
rest in peace to Michael Ray Richardson. And the last guy here will go Uncle Dave, Rodney Rogers at 54. He was the ninth pick in the 93 draft. He had a 12-year career. He played for 7 different franchises, so he was the proverbial journeyman, if you would say so. Played for the Clippers, the Hornets, the Suns, the Nuggets, the Nets, the 76ers, and the Celtics. And he actually won Sixth Man of the Year in the 99-2000 season for the
Yep,
Suns.
yep,
He played
um,
3 college seasons for Wake Forest. He averaged
yep,
19 points and 8 rebounds in his 3-year college career. And
yep,
he actually, I did not know this, he became paralyzed in 2008 from
yeah,
an accident and from an ATV.
yeah.
Obviously, you knew about him, Uncle Dave, obviously.
Yeah,
That's
he,
why you're basketball watching. So what do you have to
yeah,
say
he.
about Ronnie Rogers?
I got you his autograph. It's somewhere in your house.
Yeah, I think I have the ball still. Yeah.
He, uh, he, he was a guy. I hung out with him at 2 weeks in 1992 when I worked at Prep Stars Camp, which is like the southern version of Five Star. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. Prep Stars. I went down there. I worked with him because a lot of the players worked. Capel was there, and Rodney Rogers and Tyrone Bogue stopped by, and we hung out for 2 weeks. As the coach, because at night they'd buy you food, and we'd all just sit there. And so they had just gotten back from playing the '92 Olympic team. Because if you remember, he's on that college team that plays the Olympic team. It's him, Bob Hurley, Grant
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Chris Webber, and some others. Mash. And I remember saying to him, I said, Rodney, I said, what's it like? Because Rodney was big and strong in college. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was the big thing. The old show by Mr. Rogers putting on a sweater, but they called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And I said to him, what was it like banging bodies with Karl Malone? Because Rodney Rogers is huge. And he said, he's like iron. He's like
Yeah.
a rock.
Yeah.
And that's Rodney Rogers telling you that. So Rodney was a great player. He was tough. It's just that they could never get over the hump with those Duke teams, those 92, 91
Yeah,
Duke
you
teams.
look, they finish like they're finishing like third in the ACC during
Yeah. Yeah,
years.
because
Yeah.
like there was some really good teams back then. Florida State would knock on the door with Bob Sura and guys like that and Edwards, but they couldn't get through either. Duke was just so freaking good back then. Carolina was good, so it was just rough. And Wake Forest was good, but yeah, he worked at Prep Stars, and Tyrone Bogues was working there. It was just great people that working there. And Tyrone Bogues that week bench pressed 450 in front of the whole camp. That's how strong he was. People don't realize that. But Tyrone was already in the pros back then, and people look at his 5'3.5". You don't realize how big he is physically.
No, no.
Uh,
He's
so
short.
um,
He's not small.
right, exactly. And so Rodney, the thing about Rodney that is bothersome to me is that the guys today don't do what Rodney did. You have to remember when Rodney Rogers comes in the league, he doesn't shoot threes. He's a big, strong guy, but then he realizes that in the NBA,
Yeah, he was
he's
like he was right. He was like the Anthony Mason type of
yeah,
player,
he's
right?
like
That's
six
like
eight, but he might not be able to get over on 6'8". So what he does is he develops a 3-point game and changes this whole game, which players did back then. Magic Johnson did it. Michael Jordan did it. They all got in the lab every summer and they worked. And they changed their game. They added stuff to their game. Michael Jordan added a post game. Magic Johnson added a three. They all added stuff. And Rodney Rogers changed this whole game. He's much like, the twins that played at Stanford and Lopez brothers. I mean, they changed their game. You got to give a guy like that a ton of credit. So Rodney Rogers starts to shoot threes and becomes like an all-star shooting threes.
right.
And he's big and he's as strong as a house. So if you look at Rodney Rogers' body, you'd say to yourself, "What's he doing out there?" But he made his game different and got, like you said, became a 6 man of the year and got an extended career out of it. 1 year short of the pension, I think.
Yeah, he played
Probably
12
why he had this.
seasons. 12 seasons
Yeah,
he
so he
played.
got the pension. Good. But he's a guy that really recreated himself and just a great, just a good dude. I mean, really good dude, but built like iron. I mean, unbelievable how big he was. I mean,
Yeah.
we were hanging out a couple of times with eating pizza, and he's sitting in the chair, and you don't even see the chair. He's just like
Yeah,
so
right.
big and strong, and you just, of course, I'm diminutive in status, and he's just this gigantic person, and just a really nice person. Didn't act like who he was. Like I said, we hung out every night for 2 weeks, just with all the coaches there, and he was just one of the guys,
Right.
before before his getting ready for the season. A lot of the college players worked the camps back then. But he was a stud. I mean, like I said, he redid his game, and That's the crazy part. And he was on that team that got to play the Olympic guys. And I think that's when he realized to better pop out and learn how to play. Because, guys like Karl Malone are even bigger.
Right. Yeah, he for his 12-year career, he averaged double figures for 10 of them. So I mean, he was
Yeah, so
obviously a very
he was a
productive
guy
player.
that really, he's a lefty. Him and Lenny, both lefties, changed their game. Rodney changed his game for the better, and got to give him a ton of credit, man. It's so proud when you watch a guy change their game, because you know that those are hours in the gym by themselves. And I'm always that's why I'm critical of some guys who never change their game, and I'm always overpraising of guys who do, because to me that just shows one thing: you were in the gym.
Right, right. Yeah, unbelievable. No, it's funny on Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson's podcast. They apparently these guys were joking around with some of the, how it goes, like when you get these college guys and they see the vets, it's like their opportunity to, say maybe a funny joke to them or whatever. And Rodney Rogers says to Larry Bird, "Hey, Larry, you haven't hit a jumper since '84." And they said they joked around about it, Rodney Rogers, with them saying that, yeah, the next day Larry Bird had like 10 straight jumpers on Rodney Rogers after saying that. So it was
Yeah,
funny
Rodney probably
because
thought he could get up on him, but it didn't
right,
matter.
right.
Everybody got up on Larry, and they all went for the ball fake, or he stuck one in
Right.
your eye.
Right. He had the bad back and everything, but he could still play Larry Bird.
Yeah, it's the wrong
Yeah.
guy to talk to. You never
So
talk to Larry.
funny story though, nonetheless, about
Yeah,
Rodney.
let Larry be. Don't piss
Yep.
him off.
So rest in peace to Rodney Rogers. It's such a shame, Uncle Dave, too, with the ATV accident and gets paralyzed in
Yep.
2008. So I mean, that's just he dies at 54 here. So obviously, it had to
Yeah.
be some complication. I'm thinking from that.
Probably a
But
breathing issue.
yeah. So rest in peace to Rodney Rogers. But
Such a Mr. Rogers neighborhood, man. He could dunk with the best of them.
right, right. So that's pretty cool that you actually had some personal experience with him as
Yeah.
well. Shows you
Yeah,
that
Rodney was a good dude, man. He
how
was a
it's
nice guy, and you would never know he was like first team All ACC the
right,
way he was
right.
sitting
Yeah, a
there.
lot of those guys you might think you meet your not your idol, but you meet those guys and you're disappointed after meeting them. It's nice to know
Well,
that
today they're not in the gym at camp either. Rodney
right,
Rogers in the gym at camp.
right, right. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's way different even back then, which is not that long ago compared to how it
He
is
just played. He just played the best team ever assembled, and he didn't act like it.
now. Right. So, Uncle Dave, we're gonna go to the next topic here. The Mavericks fired Nico Harrison, who was obviously, for those of you that have been under a rock, I guess, for the last year or so, he's the GM for the Mavericks that dealt Luka Doncic to the Lakers.
Yeah,
And he's been fired now. So this season, obviously, they're 5-13 right now. Anthony Davis has only played in 5 of the games, so this is a situation right here where, you're a quarter of the way through the season here. But do you think this is something that do you think you blow it up, Uncle Dave? Do you think you wait till Kyrie gets back and Anthony Davis to see how it goes? Because I think that's what everybody's waiting for. They want to see this team completely assembled, playing together before something happens. But you know how this goes. People are very impatient, more so than ever. And I think also something that stuck out to me, Dirk Nowitzki, who's not a guy who's going to say a lot of negative things. He never has. He's very politically correct. He thought that Nico Harrison should have been dealt, with after the after that trade that summer, that he should have been discarded. So when you have someone like him, who's certainly he is representation of Mavericks basketball, saying that, I think that carries a lot of weight. So
yeah.
what do you think? Was this something? Do you think that was deserved, or
Well,
was this something that
first of
shocked
all, first of all, I understand why they did it, but I also don't think that Luca was ever going to lose the weight in Dallas. So
that was right. Right.
if a guy goes somewhere else and has success, it has nothing to do with where he was with you. Some guys need a change of scenery. This guy obviously wasn't going to get the max deal. I'm not giving Luca the max deal when he's drinking beers and having tacos. I'm not doing it. And he made that decision. You don't have to like that decision, but the fact that he goes to the Lakers and gets scared and now wants a max deal from them, well, maybe that's what it took. So he should send Nico part of his check when he does get the max deal, if he gets the max deal, which he will from the Lakers, I'm sure.
Well, that was the thing I think that you're absolutely touching on. That's correct. I think that it was complacency with him in Dallas. He might
Yeah.
have a fire under his ass now, but that fire has been lit because something that's happened to him, not because he chose to have that on his own.
One thing I will say, and we talked about this at the beginning of the year, you got to go get a point guard. Kyrie's been hurt since April.
D'Angelo, it's been a disaster. Yeah.
And plus, you've had a couple of things. D'Angelo Russell looks like he's throwing games in some of these video highlights. I'm watching some highlights. It
People are
looks like,
saying that. I shared actually a clip on my social medias about that. Yeah.
yeah. And the other thing is, that's why I don't like D'Lo. I don't want D'Lo around Cooper Flag either. But the other thing is, I think you also got to speak on Nico's behalf. Gabbard has not been healthy. D-Lie has not played hardly at all. And Klay Thompson, I'm sorry to say, it looks washed.
Right.
and I love Clay, so it pains me to say that. I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Yeah, John Morant was barking at him the other night saying that. Yeah.
Well, John Morant should never talk to fucking Clay Thompson. John Morant is going to go pimple on Clay Thompson's ass on his
And he's in
best day.
street clothes. He's in street clothes saying
Yeah,
that.
Clay, he's in street clothes wrecking the fucking franchise, this piece of shit, while he's got this fucking talented kid like Jackson sitting there in the goddamn got the stud in the post who's like 6'10",
Jared
6'11".
Jackson, yeah.
Yeah, and he can't get anything out of that guy. Jesus Christ. So he's talking shit. That's the modern day guy. But Clay is looks like he's seen better days. Like I said, D Russell, but they have not had Lively, who's one of the best rim protectors in the league. Davis has been hurt, so of course you got to blame somebody. You can't fire the players, but I wouldn't blow it up yet. I don't know what Kyrie's timetable is. I know that the trade deadline is the end of February, usually, but at the same time, I don't know when Kyrie's coming back. If Kyrie's coming back in January, which he probably isn't, give it a look, see if you can make a run. But to me, I don't think you have to blow it up. I just think you have to play it out because
I think so too. That's what I would do.
Why play it out? And if you can get, I mean, if you look at the West standings right now, it looks like there's only haves and have-nots. It already looks like we know who's going to make the playoffs. Like it doesn't, like 8 and 10 aren't going to matter, but the teams that aren't going to make it, they already look like they're not going to make it. If you look at the records and the standings of it, which I was just doing that before, if you look right here it's a situation where, Memphis Grizzlies are 6-11, and they're going to that'll be the 10 seed right now. So to me, Portland and Memphis are going to make it, and maybe the Clippers will wake up in time. But are the Mavericks going to push it so they can be a 10 seed? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't make any stupid moves so I could be the 10 seed just so I could sell more seats for Cooper Flag. I think Sacramento will wake up, so maybe they'll get back in the mix. But right now, there's only 8 teams in the West who are at 500 or better. So you're going to get in. But at the same time, is it worth it to get in,
Yeah.
So I wouldn't blow it up. I hold on to Gabbard. I hold on to Lively. I don't know what Kyrie's contract status is at this moment. You do need a 2 guard on that team. Clay's done. You do need a point guard. You got to get 2 backcourt guys. And this is where, if I was one of them, I would have went out and got a Tyus or a Trey Jones, guys who just run your team for you. I guess there are very few point guards, as we've talked about before. So I would have went out and got
you might be able to get Jones from the Magic right now because it seems like he's out of the loop right now in that rotation there.
Yep, he sure is. So you got to go get a point guard. You got to find one in college somewhere, and I just don't know how many of those are in college anymore. But I just don't think you should blow up the whole thing yet.
Yeah, I agree. I think you owe it, I think, to yourself to see what this team would look like when it's fully intact. Now, will we ever get there? Who knows? But I think you have to. I mean, I think we were saying it would be pretty special, I think, if you have Irving, Thompson, Davis, and Flag on the floor all healthy, and then you have Lively off the bench. I think that could definitely, or PJ Washington as well. So you.
And Gabbard. People forget how good Gabbard is. Just really. I mean, it's a weird team. Them and the Rockets are weird teams. Like the Rockets are winning though, and that's the difference.
Right. So I think I would wait and see what happens with that. You don't have to. I think we talked about it. You panic too quickly, and you fall victim to the social media and everybody trying to pressure you from all angles on that. But just let it marinate and see what happens.
I think the thing that really pisses people off and why he lost his job though is he traded Luka for a guy that's hurt all the time, and that's the problem.
Right.
So if you traded him for Zion Williamson, you'd be in the same situation. If you traded him for John Morant, who's getting arrested all the time, you'd be in the same situation.
Yeah.
If you traded him for a guy who plays all the time, you wouldn't have this problem. If you traded him for Donovan Mitchell or somebody, you wouldn't have this problem right now.
That's true. Yeah.
If you traded him for even a Jalen Brunson, you wouldn't have this problem right now. A guy who plays all the time is a very good player. A guy like Cat or a guy like Randall, a guy who plays a lot of games.
Right.
You trade him for a guy like that, I don't think people get upset. You get a Cade Cunningham back, you're okay. But Anthony Davis has been one walking injury after another. The guy farts, he pulls a muscle.
Yeah, so some of it's just misfortune on that. But yeah, obviously the Mavericks definitely a team that, as long as you have that nucleus there of Davis, Flag, Irving.
You don't want to give up their size and depth. That size and depth is nuts.
It's very unique, right? Yeah. So I definitely will see how the second half of the season goes. We're not even halfway through the first half of the season, so definitely let that marinate. We'll move on, Uncle Dave, to our next topic here right now. Bradley Beal out for the season. And the Clippers are 5-12. Kawhi Leonard's only played in 7 of the 17 games. And by the way, to make matters worse, Uncle Dave, the Thunder have their first pick this year in the draft. So the Thunder might wind up with a juicy fucking top 5 pick or something like that here if this really shit. Yeah, no, exactly. That's the worry, that you're going to have a Boozer, you're going to have a the stud from BYU. You're going to have someone like that that's going to be available for the Thunder to take. And the NBA will just be totally shitting a brick here, basically, for lack of a better word. So what do you make of the Clippers here? Obviously, I was going to say this is not shocking. It really isn't. I think that we kind of expected this to happen. They were the oldest team coming into the NBA ever this season, and Bradley Beal for quite a while now has just been a disappointment. And Kawhi, we know the story with him. So this just obviously looks like this is a ship that is just blowing up before it's even taken off here.
Well, the scary thing is, we just talked about how bad the West is. The Clippers are a game out of the playoffs. Not that that's an accomplishment. You're out of the play. You're out of the game, out of the play-in game. But the sad thing is that you got still got guys who can play like Harden, and Kawhi just never plays. So and that's what kills you. But yeah, Beal being out doesn't help. But yeah, I mean, it's sad. But you look at the numbers of these teams that are losing games. The numbers usually reveal why you're losing. And the Clips, I mean, the injury factor is why they're losing. I mean, they're already 11 and a half games out of, like the top seed in the West, and we just started the season. You're only 17 games in, you're 11 and a half out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty crazy stuff. But the Clips, we talked about, they were probably the oldest team in the league. They're like the Steelers in football pretty much, and one injury away from it all falling apart.
Yeah, no, it's disappointing because I think they added some good guys. Like I like John Collins, I like Derek Jones Jr., I like Zubac, I like Bogdanovich. So you have some, I think, nice pieces there. Chris Dunn, I think, is nice too.
Chris Paul too, right?
He's basically done. They're playing him like 15 minutes a night here.
He announced his retirement too.
Yeah, he's averaging 2.5 points and 4 assists, so he's done. But you have Nicholas Batum. I mean, if you had a situation here where you had a really healthy Bradley Beal and Kawhi Leonard, you might be able to make a run here with this team.
Yeah, you could get to 500. There's no doubt. You could, 500 might be the 7th seed in the West.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about how seeding now more than ever now. It doesn't matter, and you have
it doesn't. You wouldn't want to see them in a best of 5.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
If you get Kawhi Leonard healthy and they're all healthy in a best of 5, you don't want to see those guys.
Yeah, so with Harden and him, and then you have a good center in Zubac. You have Lopez to back him up. I mean, you have John Collins, who is an absolute stud on the front line. I mean,
if they make the playoffs, the 8th seed, and it goes to a best of 5, that's a good odds to take that play.
Yeah, to beat them 4 times, I don't care who you are. That's a tough task. Yeah, so that's really disappointing to me. I think that they're a team that you might not even see.
It's still only a game out.
No, it's incredible. Like you said, the West. I mean, if they could really just get their shit together, they might be able to make a run at this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So disappointing. I mean, they're a team. We talked about it. Them and the Mavericks. For those teams to be right now, I know it's the season. We're just getting started now. We're not even a quarter of the way there. But my God, for Dallas and the Clippers to be technically not in the playoffs if it were to start today is kind of shocking right there.
Yeah, it sure is.
Unbelievable. So we'll see obviously what takes place with the Clippers. But I think with a team that's in their situation where you have guys who are, let's say, grizzly veterans here, to put it kindly, you don't want to get too far in a hole here because the season's a long season. You kind of wanted them to play ahead and have a situation where they take their foot off the gas pedal maybe late in the season, not have to be killing themselves after the All-Star break. But that's the way it's shaping up if they want to make a playoff spot.
Yeah, sure is.
Move on, Uncle Dave, to the next topic. The Pelicans fired Willie Green after 5 seasons.
It's his fault.
Went 150-90. But here's the thing, though, Uncle Dave. In the 22-23 season, he had a 42-40 record. Then the next season, 23-24, they went 49-33. And I hate to say it and blame it all on one guy, but Zion Williamson not being available for him, I think, is why he lost his job. I mean, if he's available and playing for him most of those games, I think he still has his job.
But here's the thing. Let's look at his roster. This is like a house. This is like the Kingdom of Misfit Toys to make a Rudolph in the Christmas.
Yeah, we're almost at Christmas, so good reference.
DeJounte Murray, Jordan Poole. I mean, Zion Williamson. I mean, Jose Alvarado is a good player. Derek Queen is having a good little rookie year. DeAndre Jordan doesn't play anymore. Who made this roster? Stevie Wonder? I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, like, this roster is Sadiq Bey, and they got Looney. Looney at least is a pro, but who made this roster? I mean, like, there's a bunch of guys who all have situations. Then you throw in a rookie like Hunter Dickinson, who's a cancer, wherever the hell he's been in college.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, like, who the hell put this together? I mean, and you blame this guy, and you know, McQueen's the only bright spot there.
Right.
You know, and you hate to say it, but Jordan Poole, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, if I got Alvarado playing the point and I could get something out of Zion and I can get DeJounte Murray to be like a combo guard, I think I could do something with this team.
Well, Uncle Dave, it's going to disappoint you. Joe Dumars is the executive for the Pelicans.
Well, I hate to say it. I know Joe gets a lot of credit for a lot of things, but also Joe has one of the top 2 worst draft picks in the history of the world with Milicic.
That's
Just
a rough one.
who never even played a
You have
freaking.
Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, and Chris Bosh, and you take
Yeah,
Miller.
I think you missed that one. So, I don't have a lot of I mean, I like Joe as a player. I thought he's a gentleman. He still is a gentleman. But Jesus Christ, I mean, that championship in Detroit had very little to do with Joe Dumars. I got to break it to you.
Right.
So the thing is, I mean, his draft picks are horrendous, or he could have kept that thing going. I do like Joe, and I'm hoping that it works out for him. But I think he was going to take a lead, a league office position. I didn't know he was still with the Pelicans. There was a rumor that he was going to be like the Russ Granick of the old days, where he handed out the discipline because everybody respects him so much.
Yeah.
So I love Joe. He's a Hall of Famer, but Jesus Christ, as a GM, I think it's time to pack it in. He's in that Phil Jackson mode right
We've
now.
talked about it. These Hall of Fame players as executives and GMs, they're just terrible. I mean, look at Michael Jordan as a general
Oh
manager.
my God, yeah.
Horrific. He's one of the
Yeah.
worst.
Hey, look at the trades LeBron's orchestrated. It's been awful.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
But
You know,
yeah, sad stuff. But the coach gets fired, and that's the way it is. And I get it. But that's the way it is. You can't fire the players. We always talk about it.
yep.
But the Pelicans, they're 2-15. That's a disgrace. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's really sad. You have a 6'6" guy who's 284, 284 pounds, and he still doesn't play. And that'll be one of the biggest disappointing careers in the history of the league.
Yeah.
And people won't say it is because he put up good numbers while he plays, but he never plays. So to me, he'll be one of the top 5 most disappointing in my book.
Yeah. No, I think so. I think
they're really smart. They'll move him at the deadline.
If I'm Willie Green, I'm thinking, hey, if the guy that we invested our franchise, and if he's playing 75% of his games, even for me, I think I still have a job. So Willie
They
Green,
got to move him at the deadline. Whoever comes in's got to move him at the deadline. You want to make a splash? Get rid of him. Get a couple of picks.
Value for him now is never going to be any higher than it is now.
Exactly. Get it now. Get it now. Maybe he's playing a little bit this year. Get it now. Get something for him.
Plus, you have some nice players teams that are on the cusp right now for maybe being a playoff team that you might be able to get something really good for them. You might be able to get some good.
You're telling me that Dallas could use Jose Alvarado?
Yeah, or someone would like Jordan Poole,
or even the Rockets. You get a backup point guard and Jose Alvarado. He'd start for Dallas. I mean, Jesus God, you got to be kidding me. Or DeJounte Murray.
Right.
You could move Murray. You could move and Zion. You could get out from under. You're gonna suck next year, but at least you have some players.
Right.
You got Eric Queen. You go from there.
Right. Yeah.
Terrible.
I think that's a good place to end on the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans talk. We won't have really much more to say for them this season, except for our end of the season NBA show, and we go over every NBA team. But yeah, I don't. Obviously, this is going to be a rough year for New Orleans.
Shit.
To put it nicely, and whoever is the next coach, rent, don't buy. I would say.
Yeah.
Moving on, Uncle Dave, to the next topic here. Russell Westbrook, he just passed the 10,000 career total assist mark, passing up Oscar Robertson, and now he's behind your man Magic Johnson now. So he's number 8 on that list right now. And he also just passed Jason Kidd on the all-time rebounding list for guards with over 8,700 rebounds. So
yeah, he's a freaking savage. Love him.
One thing about Russell Westbrook that I've been thinking about, and you look at his numbers this year, he's still a very good player in the NBA. Yep. He's still very good.
He could have run the point for the Mavericks and the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, no, we were saying if the Rockets, we thought that would have been a nice fit.
Oh my God.
It's incredible for a guy like him that could be that explosive, and is still very explosive. Obviously, maybe not as he was when he was his MVP seasons, but he's someone that to have an 18-year career and play as fast as he does is just unbelievable. Usually guys who are that freakishly athletic, they go the way of like John Wall, where they just blow a gasket and they're just never the same anymore.
Yeah, he is. I say it all the time. He's probably the best athlete to ever play the point.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy to be able to fly through the air like a bird and be able to play 18 seasons like this is just incredible to me.
Yeah, point guards are athletic and all, but this guy is a different level.
Yeah, it's another level, right? Like him and Derrick Rose are the two guys I've never seen them explode to the rim. Like it's something like they get shot out of a rocket. I mean, it's literally insane how they attack the rim.
A healthy Penny Hardaway had a little bit of that too.
Yep, in his prime. Yep.
It's ridiculous how athletic, and like I said, Michael Richardson, great athlete. This guy is a freak.
Yeah. So just, I know on this show we're definitely pro Russell Westbrook guys. We just appreciate a guy who just puts it out there every night and
Plays
just
hard.
plays
I know they make
basketball.
all the jokes, and he's not won a championship, and I get it. I
Yep.
get it. But if your only judgment is the guy who not won a championship, then you don't know basketball.
Right. There's so many guys. Look, this it's one of 32. So I mean, you
Yep.
have all these teams out here trying to win a championship. So it's only one team that
Yeah,
can do
he's a
it every
stud.
year. And you,
I'll always appreciate his effort. I know he's a knucklehead sometimes. I'll always appreciate his effort. He always played hard. If you play hard as a coach, I'm on your side.
unbelievable. Yep. So Russell Westbrook still breaking records here and doing big time stuff.
Happy for him.
Yep. There's certainly a guy who deserves his flowers for sure.
Yep.
And he said it. He's like, I'm the best rebounding guard of all time. And it's hard to argue with that now when he
Yeah.
passes the Jason Kidd for the all time record
Yeah.
for rebounds for a guard. So I
Yep.
definitely think he is that for
Absolutely.
sure. Uncle Dave, now we'll just go over to the overall landscape of the NBA as it sits currently. What
Sure.
are some things that you are
Yeah.
noticing, concerned
Well,
about, or looking at that are
yeah.
shocking or anything like
Remember
that?
what we talked about? We said I was telling you that I was really curious about several teams this year. I was curious about Detroit, Toronto. I was curious about on the better than the worst side, the Hornets and the Jazz, and I was really looking forward to watching them. You can see that Detroit is 14-2, and they're scoring they're scoring an inside clip better than anybody else. Their inside field goal percentage is killing it. And Toronto Raptors, we knew this was going to happen. You got Scotty Barnes, you got Barrett, and you got Ingram.
I knew
Jesus
you liked
Christ.
them coming into the season, but I didn't predict 12-5 in their first 17. That's
Yeah,
it.
well, I think they're going to be all right because the Eastern Conference is a little bit down, and this is a really weird season. And I was doing some homework today on some of these teams. Uh, the Cavs, I think, have withstood the storm. They're 12-6. They're not as good as we thought, but they'll get hot. I think they withstood it. Coach of the year is Spoelstra. They're 11-6, and
Yeah,
freaking Tyler
that's
Hero has not
insane.
even played yet. This son
That's
of a bitch. I don't
insane.
know what
Yeah,
they're like stealing money. I don't know what the hell they're
yeah.
doing over there.
No, Eric Spoelstra, you definitely got
The
to be.
Atlanta Hawks 11-7. The Knicks fans are starting to rumble a little bit. You're not playing any defense. What a shock.
Well, I
And
think the concern with them, Uncle Dave, is they're 1-5 on the road. They can't win on the
yeah,
road.
yeah. But also, I think they got to give it time. They're playing a different system, so the defense will seem like it's less. But again, the problem with the Knicks is, like I said, you can pay a guy $8 million doesn't mean he's an $8 million player. So your
Yeah,
best two players, Cat and Brunson, are not defenders. So I don't care what you do; it doesn't speed up their foot speed.
no.
So the Bulls are 9-7. They've cooled off. The Sixers are the most fascinating team in the East because Tyrese Maxey's just going off. I mean, this guy gets when he's hitting his J, he can't stop him either. And if they could just get anything out of Paul George, this team could be a damn good threat. You get them in a 2-7 series, someone's going to be shitting their pants. I'm telling you
Right,
right now.
right.
It's going to be best out of 5, and they'll kick your ass in one game. Embiid gets out there and starts hitting a couple of J's. You're in trouble.
Well, Paul George in his 3 games in his 22 minutes, averaging 13. I think that's perfect.
That's
You
perfect.
you
Just
get
do it
him
every night.
right,
And
right,
tell Embiid you're not playing back-to-backs, and here's 30 minutes. And shut up.
right.
And then the Celtics 9-8 doing a great job. This roster right now is a travesty, and they're 9-8. It's disgusting. Orlando looks like they're coming back into it. They won a couple of games without Banchero, which is a little strange. Wagner is just killing it. You never would have thought Wagner had been this good in the NBA.
No,
Just goes to show you. I mean, Milwaukee's cooled off. They're disappointing. There's really 11 teams right now for 10 spots in the East. And, of course, the play-in isn't really a great spot. But the Hornets on down to the Wizards are all 4 wins or less. And obviously,
right.
there's going to be some problems there. The Bucks early on were hitting some jump shots.
Yeah,
They've obviously cooled off.
it's a battle between that 11 and 10. You're not going to see the Hornets
Yes.
competitive for a playoff spot. That's clearly the
The
case.
thing that pisses me off about the Hornets is there's some talent here. I thought they'd be better than 4-13. Right now, they're shooting only 45% from the field, and that's a problem, and only 35% from three. Not getting it done here, and it's just it's not good. In the games that they've won, they've shot 49%. In their losses, they're shooting 44. And obviously, Con Knipple is having a nice run here, but at the same time, it's a situation where I don't know. He's a guy that every time he catches the ball, they're isolating on him and they're just going right at him, which I get. He's not that kind of defender yet. He's good at squaring a guy up in the lane as a defender, but the initial thing he does is not going to really work out. Colin Sexton, I was hoping for more from this year. He's shooting 47%, which isn't bad for him. He's playing 27 minutes a night. I thought it helped them a little more. Con Knippel's having, like I said, he's averaging, he's shooting 49%, which is good for a rook. He's getting it done. Khan is averaging 19.4 points a game, 43% from three, which is
Plus, his family
ridiculous.
had the whole Hornets team over when they played in Milwaukee, so that was
Yep.
pretty cool.
And LaMelo Ball has been very disappointing. I believed in LaMelo Ball. I thought he's the best ball of them all, obviously. But he's just not there yet. Maybe he just needs a little more time. He's only played 10 games.
Yeah,
McNeely is a
he's
rook.
only shooting 39%. That's his.
Yeah, McNeely is a rook, but Ball used to get to the rack like it was his
Yeah,
business. Bridges is not playing bad. Happy
he's
with
their
him a
leading
little bit.
scorer with 22 a game. Yeah,
Yep, he's doing a good job. They have a better team than their record is right now.
I
Very
think so
frustrating.
too. Yeah, I think so too. I think they should be
Ion James
closer to.
plays every night. Colcrun has been great as a rookie. They got something going there. I just can't believe they've only won 4 games.
Yeah,
That's a little disappointing for me. As we go around as I go around the rest of this league here, it's pissing me off though watching them, and I'm really frustrated with the Wizards. I feel bad for the Pacers. The Nets are playing hard, but they're about to quit. Wizards, I'm really pissed. The Wizards, I'm really pissed off about. I just don't know how you're allowed to suck every year. I'm sorry. People tell you all the time, well, this GM must know more than you. No, they don't. They suck.
right.
You tell them there's shitty insurance salesmen and shitty GMs. Just because you have the job doesn't mean you know shit. I
Plus,
mean,
I don't
this is
want to hear that it's the Wizards. The Wizards have had good teams throughout
oh,
their
it's
franchise
such bullshit. They're
history.
gonna get a top pick again this year. These guys
Yeah,
are fucking killing me.
I mean the John Wall and Bradley Beal and Marcin Gortat years they were competitive. With Gilbert Arenas they were competitive. I mean they had some pretty good teams. So I don't want to.
And now you have OKC 17-1, which again tells you about
Yeah.
SGA's leadership ability because
Well,
teams don't come out and go
we
17
talked we
1.
talked about it going in. We both thought that they would maintain they wouldn't be foot off the gas pedal. They would be pedal to
And
the
they're
metal.
missing one of their best players for most of the games.
I know it's incredible.
Lakers at 12-4, mostly without LeBron, although LeBron sexuals are out there trying to give LeBron credit for it.
Well, we've
He's
talked about he has an outstanding opportunity. The first game he had back against the Jazz, that's how he has to play. Give me 17 and 10, and you
yep,
could be potentially a championship team, I think.
exactly. Just play the four sometimes and rebound for us. So
Right,
shut up.
right. He has to play that Kevin Love role with the Cavaliers, that Chris Bosh role with the Heat.
I'll
And
tell
let
you what, there's going to be 6 hell making teams in these playoffs. And
yeah,
then, so you're going to have OKC, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Rockets, the Spurs, and the T Wolves are all going to definitely have one of those top 6 seeds.
right.
Phoenix right now,
They're
totally
shocking, Uncle
outperforming.
Dave. I did not expect them to be 11 and 6. I know you,
Totally outperforming. Yeah,
yeah,
11-6 is
you
really
thought
good.
they'd be better than what the
Yep.
under and over, I think, was for them.
The
So, yeah,
team that's really a shock right now is the Warriors. They're 9-9, and when
yeah,
you go look at all their team stats, they're like 15 to 21st in every team stat.
yeah,
They're giving up their blocks per game is obviously very low. They're giving up a ton of offensive rebounds, and you know what? The small ball shit, and we're trying to find out if Stevie can really coach, and he's shown us that he can only really coach one way. I mean, and as you know, Stevie brought up what I've been saying for years: they need to shorten the NBA season. It's just that Steve's a wuss for saying the reason he does is like the guys need a break. Well, you're traveling better than you ever traveled before. You need to make it 72 games and no back to backs. And like I've said this many times on the show, if you want to sit out, then you got to go into DL. I'm sorry. It's got to be a 10-day DL or a 5-day. Make some rules about it because you know what? It's a joke. All the games these guys are missing already.
yeah.
And the Jailblazers 7-10 without their coach. So that's exciting.
That's pretty surprising too. Portland's playing
Yep.
better than I thought.
Yep. The Memphis Grizzlies
They're
just
just never going to get
disappointing.
it together. Memphis, we just I think
No.
on that boat.
Utah's got some interesting problems to solve here. Filipowski's been bad. Bailey's had his moments. The Kings are disappointing. I thought the Kings would be better than 4-13. DeMar DeRozan is a guy that somebody needs to pick up.
Yeah, Zach Levine too on that team as well.
Because,
So it's shocking.
because he's a guy that's going to help somebody. You might as
Right.
well. I mean, I don't know who we're looking at here, but if someone takes a good look at him and says, watches him for a while and says, let me see, can he still do it? So if you look at him right now, he's getting 18 points a night. He's shooting 49.5%, 36 from 3. I mean, this guy could still do it for you. And I'm telling you right now, and he gets four assists a game. So here's a guy that I'm telling you, if you need a player and you're like a scorer away, if I was Orlando, I'd go get his ass.
Right, or the Heat, someone like that.
Yep, yeah, the Heat, someone at the end of the season, I'd go get him. I mean, they're not going anywhere. I was surprised by this with Dario Saric has only played 3 games. That's a problem. Sabonis is done, as we know. He's out for the year, I believe, right?
Bonus
Veen is
out
going to
3 to 4 weeks, Uncle Dave, not the whole season. I'm thinking of Kessler for
okay.
the
My
Jazz.
bad.
3 to 4 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, they got Precious Achua, who for the Knicks had some moments. There's again, these rosters are just like a bunch of like non-connected players, and it's not the players' fault. So when you build a roster, you have to understand who's going to play well with who.
Right.
But nobody does that, so it's really disappointing. But overall in the NBA, I just didn't like Kerr's reasoning for them to get off of the 82 game schedule. And it's guys are already sitting out. And the NBA's got a real problem here with this because there were guys coming out of camp who sat out. I mean, this is an
How do you
epidemic.
start the season off not being able to
And
play?
this TV contract, this bargaining contract is going to be up. We're going to have a major problem here if you don't fix this out. You got to make a move here. Charles Barkley's talked about, all the veterans talk about, you got to do something to fix this. This is a disgrace. I mean, you guys that don't even play hard. The regular season is now meaningless. I want to do a deep dive once the springtime comes before the playoffs about the ranking of seeds and winning percentages as compared to just the last 10 years ago and back and to now. It's totally different because the regular season is just like a bunch of hookers. Nobody cares about the product anymore. It's just disgusting how many guys are missing games. It's gross. And don't tell
That's why
me
it's
that.
refreshing to see like a team like the Thunder where it's just their old business.
Well, that's that SGA
Okay.
leadership. That's what
Right.
that's the piece I'm talking about.
Right.
SGA leadership. He obviously is. It might look like a quiet guy, but obviously there's something there. It's either him or somebody else. It's just probably getting on the guys, and it's a good thing. It's something I'm proud to see. And usually don't come out of the gate after winning and going 17-1, and they're doing it. So, and they're doing it the right way. They're playing more guys. Them and the Pacers last year probably played the most players. They both wound up in the finals. So that's nice. The Pacers got to be careful. You don't want to give away too much here. There's still some good pieces there. There are some good players, the first picks in this draft. I mean, the kid from BYU is tough. I mean, Boozer, you got to see where you want him to play in the pros, but there's some good players out there. So they got to be careful with these picks and see who gets the first pick and second pick and stuff like that. What'd you think of Rick Pitino's comments about these teams today are better? The best college basketball today is better than it's ever been
I
before.
think that's him just trying to suck up, I think, maybe to the modern player. I think
Totally.
a little bit.
That's what I
I
thought.
definitely think so. There's
Is
no
he
way
kidding
there's no
me?
way he thinks his Kentucky team would lose to any team now.
Oh,
No way.
96 Kentucky would destroy St. John's.
Yeah, right.
And I get what he's saying. Guys might work on their skills and have trainers and more, but that doesn't make you a better
Yeah.
basketball player.
Yeah, that's him. That's him, I
Like
think.
the 96 Kentucky team, if you want to just go back and watch, and I can't stand Kentucky, that 96 Kentucky team would just take your head off and
That's the team with Tony Delk on it, right?
they're just like and they're just like those two Connecticut teams we just watched.
Yeah,
They'll
savages.
just kick
Yeah,
your ass.
right.
And not only did they kick your ass, they kicked your ass in a demoralizing way. They just line up and pressure right out of the building.
Right.
Connecticut just beat your ass in the half court. These guys, they were just getting your crap, play a 1-2-1-1, and take you out. I mean, like you just get your ass kicked.
I mean, there's no way he thinks his St. John's team now they would get totally blown to smithereens. I think they played.
And the funny thing is, that's why I always say to him, like if the reporter would ever coach, he'd say, "Well, then how come every coach you ever talk to tell you his teams 15 years ago would kill these teams?" I mean, like you ask any coach, you ask me, no disrespect. My teams 15 years ago were just meaner.
Yeah,
they're just hungrier. They're different people. They're just made differently. Like you give me like that you give me like one of those St. Anthony's teams or those 07 Kings Park. They're just mean. They're gonna knock you on your ass.
Well, we've talked about this before, like mentality with whatever you're doing athletically. It's like if you have the mindset of I'm going to go out and kick your ass, and the other guy is just indifferent, you're going to probably beat that guy.
Yeah, and it's just like you just sit there and you say to yourself, "There's no way Rick could believe that." Now the guys are a little older, but don't forget, the guys were older back then, and plus the chemistry in basketball is the most chemistry sport there is. Guys don't play together for a long time anymore. There's no way that you could factor in that Hurley and Leighton have played 100 games together. You can't factor that in.
I've said this on this show with you. I said the days of the greatest team ever in college
are done.
They're done because there's no way. You can't compare it. You have to say it's greatest teams for post NIL era because
absolutely
what you talked about it. You have a guy who's been playing 3 or 4 years together. They could play with their eyes closed, basically. and be
Yep.
able to hit each other on backdoor cuts and everything. You can't replicate that now in today's time because you have such
No.
turnover now. Rosters are completely different year after year, so there's no way you could say something like that.
And then that's why I love when people argue and they say, well, you're 57, so of course you're going to favor an old team. Yeah, but I've been around for all the old teams now.
Right,
So
exactly.
who am I
Yeah.
favoring?
There's many older different teams.
Yeah, so why am I favoring one now? So
Right.
I've been watching it since like first game I really watched. I've been watching it since the mid 70s. So who am I favoring?
Right.
Who am I favoring? Am I saying that this 70s team
That's
that's the
just
best?
totally
No,
ridiculous. You've had no problem saying a guy from the early 2000s was a better player than a guy from the,
exactly.
so
People will say that to him, like, dude, you just give out the usual cop out crap. You just don't know the goddamn game at all. There's no
right.
way you could put a price on Leitner, Hurley, and Hill playing together that long.
No,
There's
you
just
can't.
none. You had 3 lottery picks on the same freaking team.
And you could also even go beyond that, like the Florida Gators with Joakim
Yeah,
and Al Horford and Corey Brewer. Come on,
yeah.
it's totally different.
Corey Brewer's a beast. People realize how big he is.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Al Horford, Joakim Noah was a great defender. I mean,
yeah,
Jesus God, Billy Donovan got. I mean, good Lord. I mean, like, then just go back and just watch 90. I hate freaking Kentucky. Go watch 96 Kentucky. Do
yeah.
yourself a favor. Go put it on YouTube and watch. It just totally pissed on you. Like it
Yeah.
didn't just beat you, they demoralized you. Like, all right, screw you. Here it comes.
Yeah,
Like,
a lot of it, when you watch games back from like 15 plus years ago, you just see the intensity on defense on other
oh,
levels as well.
defense is even the NBA. Guys cut down the lane now. It's like an invitation.
Right, exactly. Karl Malone
I
would
mean,
hit you on your ass.
yeah, I mean that's why it was so funny. Like, so tonight I'm watching Syracuse and Houston. Fun to watch, and everybody's like, "Oh, this Houston team totally overrated right now."
Yeah, they almost lost to
Again,
Syracuse, by the way,
who does
tonight,
these
folks, in
rankings?
overtime.
Who,
Yeah.
who does these freaking
If
rankings?
Syracuse doesn't miss 20 free throws, they lose tonight.
Yeah. So Houston's going to be good because Calvin will coach them hard. But that team last year had 3 or 4 guys that played together for many years.
Yeah, you're not
This
having
team
that
will
again
be
this
good.
year. Yep.
They'll be good, but they're not going to be great. Like that was Calvin's chance last year,
Right.
and he let one guy take him out, and he shouldn't have done it, but he did.
Right.
He let Clayton beat him, and he should have just took him out. But the bottom
Right.
line is, you're not going to have that team. Connecticut was way too highly seeded. Connecticut, just because you won 2 years ago, has nothing to do with this year's team.
Yeah.
This is like Newsday basketball preview rating North Bab in the top 5 every year for 40 fucking years. Well, this isn't the 1980s when Russell Pierre and the Brower brothers were at North Bab. All right, there's no Barry Baker there anymore. Right, so it's like it's unbelievable. It's like, oh, you get a name association, you put it there. Connecticut's not that good.
Right.
It's not yet. They'll be good later. Not yet. Houston's good, but I mean, I know you have to have someone be second or third, but they ain't it. They're just not. I mean, so it's just a disgrace. And like Auburn's 4-1. They got them like ranked high. Auburn's not that good.
No, they almost
Just
lost.
watch the
They
game.
almost lost to Bethune-Cookman, Uncle Dave, the first.
Yeah. I mean, just watch the game. They don't play with
Yeah.
the same passion. Just watch it. You don't have to be a homer. Just watch it. Like people, oh, this team is gonna be good. Rick is definitely just kissing some NIL.
Yeah, he's kissing ass. He's kissing ass. Yeah.
I love Rick. He's got more money than I'll ever have. He's won more titles than I have. But if I win one more, I'll catch him. But the bottom line is like, here's a guy that he's got to say those things, but there's no way the '85 St. John's team would take this team apart.
Right.
They shit right on him. Shelton Jones, Chris Mullin, Walter Berry, Mark Jackson. Game over.
Yeah.
Game over. They could all shoot except Mark. They can play a little bit. Shelton's a great athlete. I love the way St. John's plays.
I believe you put Rick Pitino on lie detector test, he would fail that one miserably. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, maybe they compete with his Louisville team that won, but that Kentucky team, not even close.
Right.
That team was 10 deep every night, and believe me, I can't stand them. Every night, 10 deep, just ridiculous.
I know you with this NIL stuff. I know you say it's different with college and high school. Just 10, not high school, but college 10 years ago. You think the team?
Oh God, it's even 5 years ago.
I mean that
COVID, post COVID.
Right. I mean that Duke team that won in 2015. That Carolina team that won with Roy Williams his last championship. I mean, I think those guys, I think that's a different level, I think, than most of the teams you see today.
Well, the teamwork. If you remember that Duke team, they had 3 guys take all the shots, and they had the 2 post players get all the rebounds and kick it out. And that team, they played 6 guys, but that team had Shire, Singler, and Nolan Smith, and they all played a role.
Right. And then, look at the championship, Coach K's last one, with your Lil Okafor and Grayson Allen and Tyus Jones. I mean, that was an excellent team, too.
Yeah. I mean, like, Okafor was a beast. I mean, Mace, and they had freaking, freshman Tyus Jones was a beast. I
And we're
mean,
not
like,
saying that guys now are less talented than those guys, but we're talking about, like you said, the chemistry and the nucleus of a team and building a team and being able to build a program. Those days are done. So therefore, you can't have as good of a team as you did back then because it's just not the same culture anymore.
and that's why I was going crazy when people talk about the 2015 Kentucky team, and I'm going, you gonna like you? Are you really gonna sit here and tell me the 2015 Kentucky team is one of the greatest of all time?
Yeah.
I'm like, the Harrison boys, neither of them made the pros.
No.
Neither of them could get stiff. That's your backcourt. The seven,
Wisconsin, Wisconsin beat them with Frank Kaminsky.
and Notre Dame had them on the balls.
Yeah.
And the 60s UCLA teams would crap on these teams. Who's guarding Kareem? Just stop. It's not even a game. I mean,
Right.
who's covering Lou Alcindor? Who's
Yeah.
covering Walton in 72? Nobody's covering. And you go, well, that's only one guy. Yeah, but you didn't stopping that one guy. It's
No,
over.
you're not. You're not. Yeah. Then
I
when
mean,
you try to
it's
double
not.
them, then they play off
Because
the
it's
other.
one guy, but then you got Jamal Wilkes, you got Lucius Allen, you got, Jesus Christ. I mean,
Right.
and again, you just the chemistry matters so much in basketball.
It does,
It's
yeah.
such a chemistry game. It's like the offensive line in football. By no coincidence, there's 5 guys on the offensive line in football. There's 5 guys on the court. You've got to be in harmony. And it's just not even close. It's just, and again, that Connecticut team a couple of years ago, amazing team.
Oh yeah, for
Fantastic.
sure. Yes, yes. Those teams
Fantastic
were
team.
great. Yep.
I think they might be maybe one of the greatest, maybe the greatest Connecticut teams of all time. I think the one from the first year was better than the second year, but at the same time, that doesn't make you one of the best of all time. I think that the Florida team was really, really good. I think some of those Kentucky teams were ridiculous. Louisville in 1980 was really good. I remember that was a really good ball club. Just so many good teams. 87 Indiana was good. Obviously, 76 Indiana was undefeated. I mean, that Gonzaga team that lost to Texas Tech that year when they were the best team in the country, and I think it was 2019 maybe. That was a really good team, but they didn't win, so you can't say it,
So true.
So I mean, it's just frustrating to hear people just talk about it. But again, the person who talks about it is 22 years old with gel in his hair and has watched like 6 games. So it's like, listen, do you know what you're looking at? Obviously, a lot of the GMs don't. We just talked about. Do you know what you're looking at? What made you think Darko Milicic was the best pick?
And this is Joe Dumars, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, you could be a great guy and a great player, but it doesn't mean you know it. I mean, look,
Italian evaluator is a different thing. Doesn't matter how much you played or what level you played.
Right.
It's totally different.
Ted Williams used to tell guys, they used to say, Coach, how did you hit? And Ted Williams couldn't explain. He's like, I don't know, I just hit. Thanks, Coach. I mean, look,
we've talked about it on this show. That look at Bob Knight and Coach K, very average players, but 2 of the best coaches ever.
Yeah, I mean, Coach K and Bob Knight was a part of a great Indiana team, Ohio State team, I should say. But the bottom line is, there's so many great teams, but like this year, I don't see one of those teams. I thought like last year, Duke talent-wise was a great team, but they obviously didn't win, so you can't even count them. You can't even say that. I think this year, obviously there's some really talented teams, but I don't think there's a great team out there. Maybe that'll show differently. Maybe somebody will go 30-1, and they'll have that UNLV team from 1990, excellent team.
Yeah,
7 or 8 deep. That team was a good team. Now, the Arkansas team that year was a great team too, but they couldn't get over the hump. So I mean, there's so many teams out there. I hate to say it, but the teams now remind me of the old LSU teams with Shaq. They go out and they get a couple of new guys every year. Vern Singleton, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, and Shaq. But they were great players, but they're individuals.
right.
They kept bringing different guys in. They had Stanley Roberts, Singleton, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, and Shaq. Now, that's a freaking talented crew right there. And they didn't win. Why did they win back then? Because you're dealing with Leitner and Hurley and Hill and the other Hill and Antonio Lang and Cherokee Parks or like they were dealing with the SEC who had Kentucky or the Rick Pitino there. Forget it, man. There's no way Rick thinks this team is beating his old Kentucky team.
Right. No, we know. I think this is just a little bit of smooching. I think
sure,
flirting with
the other thing is, his Kentucky team plays 2 more guys than the St. John's teams, and they can all shoot. Not all, but many of them could shoot it. Who's covering Walter McCarty? 6'10" beast. Yeah, he wasn't a great pro, but Jesus, this guy was 6'10" and could get to the rack. Like, who's covering him on St. John's right now? St. John's biggest guy isn't even 6'10". So, I mean, like, you just sit there and you say to yourself, I know he's got to say that,
and the kids are very skilled today. But there's no defense. There's no digging in. There's no
Right.
picking up at the half court
No,
line. Nobody
and they're
presses
not,
you
and they're no
anymore.
way they're tougher mentally or
No,
physically.
God. And plus, you're not going to be tougher when someone keeps feeding you steak every day. Like it's just you're not going to be tougher. It's just the human condition. It's not even an opinion.
Right.
It's the human condition. If I ask you to be good, you'll never be great.
Right.
If you sit there and you give a guy millions of dollars as a 20-year-old, he's not going to be as hungry as the guy
No,
who's
there's no
18 and
way.
wants to play. He
There's
can't
no
be.
way. Yeah, there's no way.
It takes a rare individual to be that hungry, like Michael Jordan or somebody along those lines.
Yeah.
But the teams today, I respect the hell out of them. I do think that the older model is good, but we're going to lose the upsets like we did last year, and we called it before the tournament on this show. The mid-major run is not coming anymore.
Which is disappointing because tournament time, you always look for
George Mason. That's one of my favorite runs of all time. Butler.
Right. Florida Gulf
He's in
Coast.
the Big East now, but Butler was a great run 2 years in a row.
Yeah. Loyola Chicago.
Yeah, they had Sam Mack. They had, Gordon Hayward. They had the tough big white kid who was 6'8". They were tough. But you're not going to get that anymore because Nil is going to steal all these guys. And you don't have to sit for transfer. And that's the rule they got to fix. You got to fix the transfer rule at least. If you want to transfer, you got to sit. Make a person think about it before they do it. Unless the coach leaves. If the coach leaves, you get out.
Yeah, I mean, that Butler team, you had Shelvin Mack, Matt Howard. Come on.
Matt Howard was a freaking savage.
The bushy hair.
Yeah. 6'8", skinny as hell, but tough.
And that team made it all the way to the finals, almost beat a Duke team that was very good.
They had UConn by the balls, too.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, it's one of the worst. That's maybe the worst.
The worst NCAA championship game I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was a doozy. That
one. Game actually make you want to turn off the game. Nobody can hit an 11-foot jump shot.
Yeah, no, that was a rough
no
one.
No one can hit an 11-foot shot.
Yeah, that was a rough one. There was a lid on the goals, I think, that night.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But as far as this season, Uncle Dave in college so far, obviously these tournaments, I think that are neutral sites, I think it's fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
It almost gives you like a little bit of a tournament feel in the beginning of the season on these neutral sites. So what do you make, Uncle Dave, right now of the landscape of college right now? Is anyone sticking out to you?
It's a fun time. A lot of the leagues now have pushed back their league starts to like the last week of December, which I just love the New Year's Eve games the ACC has this year because to me that's like I'm off and I'm just going to watch basketball. I'm just going to consume. So for me, it's like the best day of the year is like those early games.
Yes.
But the bad news is, as we've talked about this, we're going to talk about it again right now. They're going to cannibalize each other because here it comes.
Yep.
Seton Hall being 6-0 is a great job for Shaheen Holloway because
it is.
I know they don't have the money right now, and I don't know how they're 6-0, and they beat NC State today.
You've talked about it. You said that's like almost an impossible job to win on.
It is. I don't know how he's 6-0, and I know they probably didn't play a lot of great teams, but they beat NC State today. Will Wade, who's a great coach, and they have the kid from Texas Tech, who's one of the best players in the country. That's a real shocker, an eye-opener to me. That Seton Hall is 6-0. Georgetown, Ed Cooley could flat-out coach. You knew this was going to happen. I just don't know the level of goodness. I haven't watched them for more than 10 minutes this year. The SEC is definitely not what it was last year. As a matter of fact, the ACC right now is 2-1 versus the SEC, so I don't want to hear shit from the SEC fans. I know the ACC lost 2 to the Big East over the weekend, which was bad. But at the same time, the depth of the ACC is much better this year. We got 7 or 8 teams that are legit. But you could tell, like, again, a lot of the teams are making two-way schedules. And what I mean by that is they're all playing the cupcakes at the same time period. And then later on, they're all going to play the big boys.
It's going to be a light switch flipping. And it's going to be all of a sudden you're in the Coliseum here with 3 lions at your neck.
Well, the funny thing is right now you see great games like so. There was March Madness games today. So like Butler beating Virginia yesterday will serve them well at tournament time. It'll serve Seton Hall if they're on the bubble that they beat NC State. If those two teams could be facing each other in the bubble, and you just took care of business. And but Virginia beat Northwestern the other night. So again, those are big time games. Those are tier 1 wins. I hate this tier 1 crap, but those are tier 1 wins, and the only way you can get them really is in your conference. And after these games like this, so those are March Madness level games. So when you're in the room and you see that Butler beat Virginia and Seton Hall beat NC State, if they ever have to go head to head, that's going to help. I know it's a game in November, but it still matters.
I cannot wait to see in this next few weeks here, Arkansas. They got Duke coming up on the 27th. Then they play Louisville. Then they play Fresno State, and then Texas Tech, who's 20th. So I cannot wait to see them. John Calipari's second year at Arkansas. They're 5-1
Duke and Arkansas
right
is going
now.
to be great. Duke is not as talented as last year, but they might be tougher.
Right, right. And I
They've
know
won
that
two
goes a
close
long way
games
in your
already.
book.
They
Yeah.
beat two teams in the close games, and they beat them, I thought, handily. And when I say close, they were up 5 or 6 and put it away. And that's something that last year's Duke team was a little bit in the close games. They lost last year a lot. I know they didn't lose a lot of games, but all their games they lost were close games. This team has already won a couple of close games. Duke was blowing out a lot of people last year. The Boozer kid he's a beast. I just don't know what he is at the next level because he is so strong.
Well, as a Duke fan, you don't typically care right now about that. It's just about what he can do in college. Like you said, he might be a tweener. He's going to have to be a guy. He either gets thicker and becomes more of a post player, or he becomes a perimeter guy.
And I tell you what, he might be better than his brother, but his brother can play.
Yeah. No, they're both very good.
His brother's the key to how good Duke is or not this year. Got that point guard spot. Makes me a little nervous for them this year.
Duke,
I'm a little nervous because I haven't seen a lot out of the other kid who's a junior. He's making me nervous. And I know he's got his podcast and everything, but trying to. But I'm just nervous about their point guard spot. I'm hoping that young Boozer takes it over. I really love Evans. Evans is a lottery pick. He fits them perfect. Perfect. Perfect NBA player. I think Evans is 6'7.5". He might still grow. He just flat out has crazy range. He's so long. If he could just get stronger, he'd be amazing.
right. Because right now he's just, like you said, he's got that can hula hoop through a Cheerio body.
Yep. I mean, if you look, Iowa State, great win today. Arizona, great win versus UConn. Those are two coaches that I think are very underrated. I mean,
That Connecticut Arizona game was excellent.
Iowa State, I know, has some resources, but someone's going to come and wave a lot of cash in front of his face because that guy can flat out coach. Now, Arizona's got the cash. You don't have to worry about him leaving, but Iowa State's not going to be able to hold him forever. Someone's going to throw a boatload at
That's
him.
another job like Ohio State. That's just a tough place, I think, to win at. Especially
Yeah.
when you got a school that's so football oriented as well. I think it's just tough.
Sure, Ohio State is rough. I mean, Thad Matta did a great job there. Now he's at Butler. But you know what? It's tough. It's one of those jobs that you are a second fiddle, but I guess there's a lot of football schools out there. But look what they've done at Alabama. I mean, Alabama now is just as. I mean, I know football's still the roost, but Alabama
basketball is up there. It's top tier. Yeah.
It's top tier, and Texas now is about even in the football and the basketball. Have been disappointing.
Yeah, Michigan's always been a great basketball program.
Yeah, Michigan, he's done a great job over there. We'll see how they are this year. They've been under the radar so far.
They have a big game tonight against San Diego State.
With the hoop. I mean, some big games tonight. Alabama.
They're playing right now.
Really good versus St. John's. That Alabama-St. John's game was an amazing game. I couldn't wait to watch it, and it didn't disappoint. The pace of that game was how I like to see the game played. The Alabama guards, they could win the whole thing.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's how I love teams that play like that, where it's just every 5 seconds the ball's changing hands, someone's shooting it, someone's stealing it. It's fun ball to watch, no question.
Plus, you got two guys that believe in going after it. Patino's guys go after it, and you're pressing Alabama because you have to do it. But Alabama's like they want to play that way, so you gotta pick and choose. Unfortunately,
what was an insane game the other night, Uncle Dave? I don't know if you saw it. It was an overtime, and the guy hits one of the most insane shots I ever saw. It was USC and Cal Poly. It was literally. I don't know if you saw the ending of that game, the last second of it, but it was like a double clutch shot guy hit with the guy in his hand in his face for a 3 for a win.
It's like the Wake Forest game. Wake Forest pulled them out of their ass at the buzzer too.
Unbelievable.
So I mean, Wake Forest for years has been on that bubble. They might look at that game maybe in March and finally get in. They might finally get in, but the ACC is going to be fun. The SEC is going to be good again. The Big 12, I'm really interested to see what we have with Kansas here. This Kansas team doesn't look as talented as all the others, but that's when Bill Self is at his best. Arizona's legit. BYU's legit. So the Big 12 is going to be tough. Baylor's going to be tough. Iowa State's obviously going to be tough. So, I mean, it is the Big 12 right now. And Houston's – oh, my God. There's 6 or 7 teams that can win the Big 12.
Yeah, there are.
So what you're going to get out of that, who the hell knows what you're going to get. The ACC, it's going to be Louisville and Duke. The Big East, I still think UConn or St. John's, obviously. And the SEC, I don't know, Alabama's guards. It looks scary to me.
Especially with no Marcus Sears this year. I thought people maybe thought they would take a step back. They're still as
No.
lethal as ever.
Well, he went out and he got a couple of studs. I mean, don't forget, like they're
You
legit. I
and you
mean,
can get the studs, Uncle Dave, when you play that type of pace. There's going to be guards dying to
yes,
play that.
guards want to go there, and if they could just get a couple of guys to block a shot here, there, I think Florida's going to be better than people think. They don't look as good yet, but they'll be good in the end. I think they're going to be better than people think. They still got a couple of big guys back, but the SEC is going to be very good again. Arkansas, as John Calipari's teams always defend. Texas is going to, Rick Barnes does a great job at Tennessee. Texas will be good. I mean,
It's
Jesus,
impossible. It's impossible to tell, Uncle Dave, until you get to league play with these teams. That's really
Yeah,
when you start to get to teams.
And the Big Ten is going to be really interesting because Michigan State, Tom Izzo, he just keeps winning. We got to see what happens. Northwestern looked okay versus Virginia. They have some talent. Michigan is going to be really good. We got to see if Ohio State can get back into the game. Minnesota's been dormant for a little while. We got to see what they do. So the big, Penn State has been, so we got to see what they do. Penn State's been on the edge. We'll see if they can get up there with Coach Rhodes. So we got to see. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
No question. Great time of year right now, and just remember that you have obviously you have basketball now until basically until June with the NBA finals. So it's a great time right now. You got the holidays coming up. It's fantastic right now. And we got, Thanksgiving this Thursday, so it's just a ton of fun. And all of you basketball fans out there, you have all the hoop and football as well.
Oh yeah, my Vikings suck.
Yeah. So, but it's Uncle Dave though. You have your one former player though, Matt Convalez though, unbelievable with the Colts right now, Uncle Dave. That's a great situation that he's in.
I have to say though, I just did something about 2 hours ago. I was telling your Aunt Catherine I felt one of the proudest moments in coaching, and I wasn't even coaching. I sent out an Instagram post about what a coach who holds you accountable feels about you as far as if a coach will let you go. And the first person I commented was Matt.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So Matt, and we were, me and some other people in the building, when Matt got that scholarship to Pitt, we had to say a couple of rough things to him about don't come back, just stay there and do what they tell you.
Right.
And it worked out.
I mean, to be a starting guard in the NFL, I mean, that's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, Matty is Matt's doing great things, and he was always a good kid. He did what was asked. He had great feet, great hands.
Oh, you have to be, Uncle Dave, to play like at that level, that position right there.
And you know what? And the next thing on Matt was I watched him play at several different positions in one game at Pitt one time on the offensive line. A lot of guys can't do that.
No.
And then one time they got down to Clemson by a lot, and that's when Clemson was Clemson, and they put him at left tackle to protect the quarterback's blind side, and he hadn't done that before, and he did a great job, and it was against Clemson, and I was like, wow. He's doing that against Clemson. I remember watching that game thinking, man, he's a pro. And here he is.
No, it's unbelievable.
He's got great feet. Matt was always quick. People don't realize he could dribble the ball, he could go behind the back, he could shoot a three. So Big Matt, people don't realize how skilled he was. He just
at that size, Uncle Dave, it's rare you get guys that are able to do that. That's a freak.
Well, that's why Pitt football used to come in the gym after they signed him and watch our basketball games. I'm like, what are you doing here? You already signed him. He's like, I want to see his feet and hands.
Right.
Well, obviously, you know about his feet and hands. You wouldn't have signed him. He's like, yeah, but now I get to see. He's like, now I get to see him in hoop. Hoop, it shows every coach that what you can do athletically. And Matt was a beast. He had a couple of triple doubles and shit. Matt was very talented. I'm so happy for him, but it was just funny to see him be the first guy to comment because he's had some tough love in his life.
Yeah. No, I mean the Eastport community, Uncle Dave. He's definitely got to get a street named after him or something.
Yeah. Well, his older brothers, great athletes too. Played at baseball at Dowling and some good players. I mean, it's just tough. I mean, they're big time. They were big time athletes, and mom and dad were good people, and tough situation to have your, you want to go watch your kid in Indianapolis, but yet it's hard, but yet, Matt's working hard. He's always did what he was asked to do. So I'm happy for him, proud of him.
I think I saw something recently too, Uncle Dave. His father recently passed away, I saw.
Yes, Mr. Concalves was a good dude. Really, what a gentleman Matt was. Mr. Concalves was. Big Matt. The family. I'm just praying for the family. Hopefully they'll they'll be all right with it.
That's
And
pretty cool, though, to see, obviously, your former players at any level, whatever they're doing, be successful. It's obviously.
Yeah, it's the only NBA player I ever had. John Schmidt played in Europe,
Yeah.
in Iceland for a year, and Spain for a year, but he wanted to come back home. He was having great success, averaging like 16 a game. As you know, Schmidt would never be a failure.
Right.
So it's yeah. So we're just we're happy for Big Matt and the family.
No, absolutely. No question about that. And, obviously, you got other former players of yours, Mike McSloy. So Gordon was telling me he got the job at Ithaca.
Yeah, he's up in Ithaca right now. I was watching his game the other night. They had a tough one. Played Western New England, who's 5-0.
Yeah.
So Mike scheduled a really tough non-league. So I'm happy for him to do that. So he's coaching there, and he'll be fine. He's got his system in place. They're picking up full, and they're playing hard. It's just that the other night they couldn't buy one. They got stuck in a hump game the other night. They were stuck between 5 and 10 the whole night. And every time they cut into it, they give up a bucket or a loose ball. And
We've always been on the both ends of that. On the down end, the up
coach.
end. Yeah.
Whenever you coach, you're stuck in that.
You experience every type of scenario. Yep.
Oh yeah, well
You've been in the situations, Uncle Dave, where you've been up 50 and down 50.
Yeah, lost by 55 at Syracuse.
Yeah.
To Eton Thomas and Jason Hart. Remember that very well.
One of the best stories you ever told was you said when you played Wake Forest with Tim Duncan. Or was it? No, he was at Georgia Tech, right? Georgia Tech. Was he Georgia Tech?
Duncan was at Wake Forest. Yeah.
Wake Forest, where you said that you had the game tape of them, the practice tape.
Yeah, we did. We had the game tape.
And you said you only lost them by like 4 or 6. You said
they left it on.
You knew everything they were going to run. And that was a game where they're supposed to beat you by 40.
Yeah, they left it on there.
Unbelievable. But we'll leave it there, folks. All right. Everybody, live long and prosper. May the force be with you. And
happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Spend time with your family and wish you all the best. Blessings.